Hi, I'm Ilsa.
And I'm Anna.
HCASC is an organization led by students for students to share the student voice on HCPS's policy and community issues, gain leadership skills, and work with student leaders from across the county. HCASC is open to all middle and high school students, and though our name has the word Student Council, you do not need to be involved in your school student government to come to our monthly meetings. We welcome all student leaders.
The SMOB is the student member of the Board of Education, one high school student who represents all 56,000 students in our county by working with the 7 elected adults on the board to make decisions that run our school system. The SMOB reads all materials like the other board members and has a vote on all decisions except for personnel and budget.
For the first time ever, the SMOB candidates were picked through a nominating convention hosted by HCASC, in which delegates from every middle and high school came together and voted for their top 2 choices.
So today is the first ever student member of the board nominating convention, and it's different because now students from every middle school and every high school in Howard County have the opportunity to vote for the final candidates in the election of who will represent them on the Board of Education.
In my journey, I've consistently been reminded that only with the support of all of you students can we really create a platform that's beneficial to our county.
We really got to share our ideas and opinions on what we're looking for in a student member of the board. And we also got to meet the candidates personally and got to ask them questions and interact with them in a round-robin question and answer style session. And I thought that really helped in making an informed decision on who we want to elect as SMOB.
I will strive to ensure that the lines of communication between the school board, administration, and the community stay open and transparent. I want everyone to know what is going on in our board and in our schools.
Today it kind of just like restated how I feel. It was really exciting. It was really fun. Yeah, I liked talking to all the candidates. For the most part, they were really nice, and I just love seeing intelligent people just showing that they're smart.
Before, it was a panel of judges doing this, but what you get to decide is who comes next. The student member is carrying on a legacy, and you are creating part of that legacy, and I want you to know the importance of that. It's a really, really important position, and you have the opportunity to choose that next student member. The SMOB extends way past just me, backwards, and way farther past me to the next student member and the student member after that. And so just when you're making these decisions, think about how important it is, think about how you're representing your school, and make the decision that you think is right.
This convention is fantastic. It's new, exciting. It's so important to be having the kids be able to choose the student member instead of just having a panel and then 2 candidates appearing out of nowhere. I think it's really nice that we're having something like this where people can just find out what's going on and be more involved in the process.
I thought it was fantastic because every student that came today to represent their school really had a say in what the government in their school was saying, and they really brought forth ideas and really taught me how important it is to advocate for their school, and they were really respectful of their peers, and I thought that was phenomenal.
Could I get a drum roll, please? Your candidates are Ambika and Kieran. Give them one loud round of applause.
Now take a look at our last 11 SMOBs. They may look different, have different passions or extracurriculars, but put together, they have represented the student voice in the county for a long time. You, the students, have the power to decide who the SMOB is, what they look like, and what they care about. When you vote, keep this in mind. You're an integral part of an incredible process, and your choice should reflect the power of your position.
Let's start with opening statements. Let's start with you, Kieran.
Hello, my name is Kieran Newell. I'm a junior at Centennial High School, and I hope to be your student member of the board next year. I will strive to ensure that the lines of communication between the school board, administration, and the community stay open and transparent. My work as the director of the elementary and middle school programs for Centennial's its academic teams, along with my hands-on volunteer experience as an overnight summer camp counselor, have more than prepared me for this position. These experiences have exposed me to a diverse group of people of all ages and backgrounds, including high school students and adults. I look forward to working with my peers to ensure all students are aware of the issues facing Howard County Public Schools.
Thank you. Now you, Ambika?
Thank you. My name is Ambika Siddhabutula, and I'm a junior at River Hill High School. In the past, I have worked diligently to make sure that there is a successful pathway for a myriad of individuals from different backgrounds. Throughout my work in my school's SGA, HCASC, and MASC, I have created a pathway that could be beneficial to every student, regardless of their background. I will ensure that the communication between the board, parents, and administration is transparent, and that every single individual knows what's happening and knows and are up to date on the status. In addition, I will make sure that all students in Howard County, not just the leadership class students, but every student feels represented. In addition, I will make sure that the implementation of policy is successful and that every student knows the policies that affect them. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start with you for question 1. As Anna mentioned in her introduction, the student member must work alongside 7 other board members to fix issues that face the Board of Education every single day. How about you talk about a time when you worked with others to overcome an issue and what you learned from that experience?
Yeah, so an example of a time that I overcame a challenge is when I was competing to be in the Guinness World Records at the age of 8. This was in June 2008, and a lot of the people who were competing with me didn't want me to be in the Guinness World Record because they thought I was too young and not qualified. And as an 8-year-old, I thought this was not fair because I've been dancing my heart out till that point, and I thought I should get my fair chance. So I put my best foot forward and tried to do my best, and I did get the Guinness World Record. I was the youngest student in the 332 people who have been a part of it. So out of this, I learned that it's important to work your hardest and to make sure that you do your best.
That's awesome. How about you, Karen? What's one thing that you learned from working with others to overcome challenges?
Well, this past year, when I was at the summer camp, I was put in charge of scheduling dish duties. All of the people I worked with had to do dish duties on certain days. And scheduling that was an absolute nightmare. I had to work with myself and my boss. We tried to figure it all out. People had requests for where they wanted to work dish duties, and it was awful. We had to tell people no. And in the end, we were able to sit down with everyone and work something out that just worked with everyone's schedule. And it was such a pleasant moment to know that we figured that out. And I think that really taught me how to work with people in a way where we have to draw compromises, but we still make sure everyone's happy with the outcome.
I'm going to ask you the second question. Describe what you think is the most important issue facing the Board of Education today, and how do you think that they should address this issue?
Right now, I think our biggest problem would be representation in our schools. I think a lot of times the student member and HCASC tend to represent people from the SGAs and other leadership programs, where I think the student member needs to be making sure that we go out of our way to represent everyone in all of the school systems, not just those in those high-ranking student leadership associations. That would include going to things like musical clubs, going to other groups, going to individual students at schools to find their perspective on things such as policy changes.
Thank you. How about you, Ambika? How would you, what is the most important issue facing the board, and how do you think that they would take care of that issue?
Yeah, so I think the most important issue facing our board is communication and representation. So right now, a lot of the students are very interested in the policies that affect them every day, but they're not aware of what the policy says. So I believe that the board should make a small video that goes with every single policy that directly affects the students, that shows how the policy affects them and why it's implemented. If students knew why it was implemented, they're more likely to abide with the policy. In addition, I believe that a student council should be made for every school, not just representing the students from leadership classes, but other clubs. This will ensure that there is equal representation in both the leadership and other clubs.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you the third question. What organizations and people will you reach out to in order to serve as a representative leader, and how will you service that?
Yeah, so I think it's very important to work together as a whole in Howard County to make sure that we're putting the best foot students forward. So a way that I would do this is by coming to HCASC meetings and getting a perspective of what the students believe and advocating for issues that they feel passionate about. In addition, I'm a member of the Maryland Student Association of Student Councils, which means that I can view student issues from a Maryland perspective in a broader scale. In addition, I have close relationships with Alan Kittleman, which means that I can take issues concerning the students to Alan Kittleman himself.
Awesome. How about you?
Well, I think when it comes to representing the students of Howard County, it's most important that we work with student groups and organizations when representing them. I think specifically we need to reach out to groups who feel currently underrepresented, such as schools' BSUs and other groups that feel like their voice is just not being heard in our student government. And I feel like that's our first step into making sure everyone knows and feels like they are appropriately represented. Because if one person feels like their voice is not being heard, then we need to take the effort to change that and speak to them and speak to someone representing them to make sure that changes.
Thank you. I'm going to start a closing statement from you first and then Ambika.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. If elected as the student member, I pledge to work towards a system of open communication and transparency. I will find new ways to efficiently disperse information between students and community members. I will advocate for the students of Howard County so that everyone is fairly represented. I will be an agent of change and representation for myself and my peers. All Howard County students deserve the chance to speak up for the change they want to see in their schools and their communities. I'd be honored to serve as your voice on the school board and look forward to working with you to make sure our schools are truly reflective of the students in them.
Thank you. Ambika.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk today. It would be a great pleasure to serve as your next student member of the board. I look forward to coming to every single middle and high school and getting to know all of you. Just to go over, my platform is student representation, communication between parents, administration, and the students, and implementation of the policy. Thank you so much.
Your teachers will now hand you Scantron ballots. Please bubble in the box for the candidate you would like to serve as your next student member of the board. We hope you enjoyed watching the 2018-2019 SMOB video. And if you'd like to be the first to find out the results of the election, please follow us on Instagram.